What is up, guys? How you doing? They're all quiet.
Oh, are you talking to us?
Yeah. See,
Hello.
Make sure you got your audio muted out on the campsite. So welcome to the Power Hour. I'm the host, PoWWarPig, POW, Pow. Everybody calls me. Welcome everybody from the Shed community. Those that are not from the Shed community, welcome. This is our first episode. It's our pilot episode. It's our Christmas special. It's everything all in one. I'm really excited to be doing this, and happy holidays to everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. Before we get started and get too much chatter about the games and stuff, I got to give some promotions and love to people in the Shed community, the Mixer platform, all the people I've met in the last few months to a year that have been around here. It's been great, awesome. You're wonderful. You're the reason that I'm doing this, and that I'm going to keep continuing to do this. Be sure to give a follow to the Shed and to the hosts and streamers that are a part of this. Really good people, and let's get into letting them introduce themselves and everything. Fart, you want to go ahead and start and let everybody know who you is if they don't know who you is?
Hey, who I is. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for coming out and saying hello and giving us your time to watch a bunch of old guys talk about computer things. Super awesome. I am Fart, and I'm a streamer on Mixer. Been streaming there, I guess, for 6 months, a year-ish. I don't know, something like that. Variety streamer, mainly playing Overwatch and PUBG right now. I'm also involved in the Shed team, obviously. Mainly just for character reasons. Do some of the behind the scenes stuff. Real life old good friends with Mr. Mephisto. Try to do some marketing for the Shed. We got a lot of stuff going on, so that's who I am.
Sploom, my man.
Okay. My name is Bob Sploom. I am a partner streamer here in Mixer. I am also a member of the Shed. I've been on Mixer since January of this year, so I'm coming up on 1 year anniversary. I'm also kind of a partner, a variety streamer, although I am playing a lot of PUBG and Fortnite right now with some Star Wars Battlefront 2 mixed in. And yeah, I mean, I stream. I have fun with it.
Awesome. Neb, my big man.
Hey, what's up?
Luscious man, you.
Hello. I am .neb. I'm the director of the .neb's Espionage Bureau. I like playing a variety of games, mostly sneaky hitman stuff, but I play all of them. I also play some indie title. I was introduced to Beam at the time by Charlie and Gaming Ray. First night I got raided by Bizzo Mephisto, and my stream anniversary is in 6 days. I'm prepping some stuff for that stream. It's gonna be fun.
Nice. It's almost similar to my experience coming into Mixer. I had a person that I was following somewhere else, and they had come to Mixer. I didn't even know about the site, really. Didn't know it existed. It was Beam Pro back then. And I was like, wow, okay, what is this all about? And I checked it out, and I saw Bizzo's logo, and it popped, and I went to the channel because I was like, what's this Big B? This guy's Big B. And within a few minutes, he welcomed me to Mixer and was really nice. And after that, it's just been like this online bromance that I can't describe. But it's been fun. It's great. And now I got farting, so I feel like I'm cheating on him. Let's move into some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. Which, Overwatch, Battlefront 2, PUBG. It's just, and Fortnite also. We're going to start off with Battlefront 2, get that one done and over with and out of the way. There's been a lot of controversy with this game, and some people say it's the game. I think I can quote somebody saying the game is better than the movie now. Yeah, we're not going to talk any Star Wars spoilers, none of that garbage. We're strictly talking about the game only. not everybody has played it, but they, you know, if you're any form of an adult and in the gaming world, and you understand business and stuff, you can see where there's like the problems and everything else. So they had a $3 billion loss in their shareholders with everything. They've got one of the highest downvoted posts on Reddit, and I think it's still going. That ain't never gonna stop. Bobby, I think you've played it probably more than any of us, maybe as much as me, maybe more, I don't know. You play quite a bit. Do you think that all that hype around the negativity on it is actually a fair representation of what the game is actually all about?
No, not even in the slightest. You know as well as I do, people on the internet love to just jump on something, especially if it's something that a lot of other people hate. They'll jump on it just to jump on it. I think the game itself is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best shooters I've played probably in the last 5 years. It does Star Wars very, very well. I think EA messed up as far as the microtransactions are concerned in the way that, when somebody calculated true or false that it would take 40 hours of game time to unlock one hero, that a lot of people were looking at it as kind of in the way of like a free-to-play game where it's like, hey, click on this, you'll be done in 15 seconds or 15 minutes, or you can spend 99 cents and get it done now. Like, that's the way people were looking at it for a $60 title, which really wasn't the case. But so do I think that the hate is detrimental to what the game actually is? I think, like I said, I think the game's fantastic. So
I agree.
Don't listen to the Reddit post. Play the game for yourself. You can get the EA Game Pass on Xbox. Play it for 10 hours. Make your own assessment of it. Don't follow the hate train on Reddit.
Right.
That's usually a good advice to go for any type of issue. Is that's why I like watching people stream games. Is that regardless of like the review or Reddit or whatever, like watching somebody play is the best indicator of knowing if you are gonna like connect to that game or not. And like, yeah, people jumped on that bandwagon, and like the game is really fun, but they kind of bungled how they handled the whole situation. And like the loss is in response to that marketing problem and like what the shitstorm that followed after that.
Oh, absolutely. And Fart, I mean, we've talked about the whole microtransaction deal and stuff. What do you think? What kind of like, you think this is going to keep being a like repercussions from the fallout from this into the next year, bad or good?
I mean, I think just in gaming in general, this creates a huge issue. I mean, if you're a Reddit surfer or a news surfer with technology and games, I mean, I'm certainly not the guru on it, but I've read a lot, and I mean, they're talking about considering it gambling and making it illegal. I mean, this has huge repercussions across the entire gaming industry. I mean, think about Overwatch with the loot boxes that we do for the holidays. Think about, we talked about it briefly yesterday, even toys as you sell them in the stores. People have these things called blind bags where you're spending money to get, a mystery thing, whatever it is. I mean, my kid had bought them. Kids love them. I mean, in the end, that's game. Where do they draw the line? I think the other piece of that, I mean, that's kind of what I'll say about the microtransactions. Unfortunately, that's the only way that any game company, I think, can really, really increase revenue stream. And at the end of the day, that's reality of the world we live in, the capitalist world that we live in, right? But that said, even further, like, I think there's more to it than just that. I wish that it's not if it's cosmetic. I don't really think it's the way that Overwatch recently changed it when they changed the random loot drops and getting repeat items that they did a couple of updates back. I think that was really cool because it reduced the amount of duplicates you can get, and then you have a real end goal of getting all the free, profiles or the all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not game winning like it might be to buy a character or what have you. So I think there's just a bigger problem across the industry that, I don't know, we'll wait and see what happens.
See, my experience with it so far, like I agree a lot of that. When I got in the game and I started playing Battlefront 2, at first I was like, man, and as I get older, and maybe you guys can agree with me on this, and maybe not, I don't know, it's getting harder for me to play some of these shooters, and it takes me a little bit longer to get into that groove and that flow because I can't see as well as I get older. And I think Cat just jumped through Mab's head. That was awesome. I have no idea what's going on. That's great. So I know it's a ghost kitty. So like I got it, and it takes me a little bit longer to get ramped up on like pulling those kills and feeling the game out. And when I like looking at the game and I'm like, man, there's these cards, these booster cards, these guys got more health, it beats you down right at the door. And it didn't even have to be like I knew all the negativity was going on. I can ignore all that. I just wanted to play the damn game. I love Star Wars. I liked the last Battlefront game. I love the Battlefield games. And I just feel like the company itself is always, it just seems to keep turning out this negativity on the outside. And the gamers are suffering because they got great games and people aren't playing them just because they feel jaded before they even get in. So when I got in and I got playing and I'm getting my butt whooped, and it took a few days. And I'm like, I got one day off. I got all my cards on like the heavy class upgraded to a blue card. It's like 3 levels up on each card that I wanted specifically. And I went from like say like 10, 15 kills a round to like 25, 35. And now I average around like 25, 30 kills a game. Now it's like, okay, yeah, I played a little bit and got all those done. So I was getting practiced. And maybe that's where my skill was at. Or maybe it was the cards. I don't really know. But I do know that one of the cards for the heavy that has explosive rounds, I was able to just shred people in seconds. And I'm like, wow, this is like a super advantage over anybody that doesn't have it. So that's where I was like, man, it can hurt the game, but it is a great game. It is a lot of fun. The graphics are gorgeous. But, you know, anything else from you, Sploom?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this on my stream before when I was playing, because everybody came in all the time and was like, you know, oh, I've heard a lot of negativity about this game and microtransactions. The gaming industry in and of itself, we haven't spent more than $60 on a standard edition video game for the better part of what, 15 plus years at least. But the amount of stuff that we want in our games keeps going up. We want more open worlds, we want better graphics, we want more voice lines, we want this, that, and the other stuff. But it seems like we're not willing to pay for it. That's where microtransactions come in to fill the gap. If we're not, that's why you see big video game studios going under. They get closed down, people lose their jobs because there's no revenue. That's why you see, you know, $80 digital deluxe editions that have all the stuff already unlocked in them. Because honestly, that's what we should be paying for video games now. So if we're not willing to have microtransactions in some form or another, AAA games are going to go away because there's no money in it.
I think Ned have something to say before I say bad to that.
Yeah, so there's like a couple of things that I have to add to that, but what Maba is saying, we saw already on the mobile marketplace, because I'm a game developer for mobile games, and what we see is that like people online are going to complain, why is your game free to play? Why is it not premium? I would pay $3 or $5 to buy the game, and then I want everything for free. People will say that. But when you check the market, that's totally false. People are gonna just download the free stuff, and some of them are gonna put in in-app purchases, and that's gonna pay for the development of future update for those games. So like you have like the popular opinion that I want to pay premium, and the actual like consumer report that says no. Like it needs to be freemium if you want to survive in the mobile market at the moment. And that's the shift that we're starting to see on the console. When you look at a mobile game, like I'm in the industry, so I've had a discussion with economists that talk about that. Their main point is always that the balancing needs to be okay. And that's where I think Battlefront messed up, because their balancing was influencing, like when you were buying those cards, it would influence your progression and it would give you more advantage, and that totally screw up the balance of the game. Whereas if you take a look at a PUBG or a Overwatch, the only thing you get from those loot crate is cosmetic that has no impact on the balancing. So that's where I think they messed up. Like, and we see some single player as well, like Shadow of Mordor, and I think the latest Assassin's Creed as well had some in-app purchases for single player games. That's totally messed up because it breaks the balance of the single player game. So those are stuff that console developers are, or like PC developers are finding out. It's like where they cannot step over the line and where the line in the sand is going to be drawn.
That's interesting. I can.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I think too. I think the other piece of it that we're not talking about. I tend to see things from a consumer point of view sometimes, as a salesman by trade. Like they sort of sometimes you betray the trust of their client base. You know what I mean? The people that love these games and they're buying the game to play Star Wars games, and you know, and historically they've made really awesome games all the way back to, we were talking about last night, Vizzo and I were talking about playing 1942, or even all the way back to Metal Alloy Assault. You know, it was an awesome game we played hours in for time and time again. And you know, I just don't feel like they're putting that much heart into the games anymore. I don't know. Or they're you know, releasing games that are they're kind of half-assed. So I think, and then with the, you know, talking about the loot crate specifically, you're just kind of betraying the trust of your people that are spending the money on the game. You're sort of like trying to laugh to the bank. But there's the flip side of the coin as a business, where, like Mob was saying, you got to, you know, how are you going to make money to make the next game?
Yeah,
I guess it's a fine line, right?
So for in-app purchase, there's nobody that are laughing to the game right away. Because, so again, like on the mobile side, when you look at in-app purchases, you like you have three metrics that are super important. You have your retention, so that's how soon a player is going to come back to your game after he's played one day. So you want that to be super high. Then the number of daily active user you have, so actual player playing actively every day. And then you have your average revenue per daily active users. And those things are not calculated in like the $15 to $20. They are on mobile calculated in like the 20 cents or 15 cents or something like that. So that's per player, you're going to get a couple of cents. But they do add up because you have like 100,000 or 1 million player at the same time. So that's why you're making the bucks. Whereas like on console, there's still more friction, so there's less people buying those in-app purchases. So I'm guessing that their revenue is a bit lower, but they make their money because there's a large volume of whales that are willing to pay.
That's a good point. We'll move on from the Battlefront 2. I think we all got a good point on, like, pretty much the game is decent. It's worth the check out. Like Sploom said, you know, just make your own assumption based on actually playing it and trying it out. It's got a lot there to go and formulate your own without worrying that negativity, because it is a decent game. It really is. It deserves a better funeral than what it's going to get, I think. There's a giveaway happening in the chat right now. You guys can check that out. Pay attention. Next topic for the night. Overwatch. Slim's like, yay. You know, I come from a background of competitive arena shooters like Team Fortress Classic and moving into TF2. And Overwatch, to me, felt like it was gonna fit that mold when it came out. I loved the alpha, the beta, and that first patch that came out that released Mei, Genji, and Diva ruined it for me for a long time. And the only thing that's really made the game feel good to play again is actually just playing with people that I enjoy hanging out with, which is Fart and some of the greater other peoples of the Shed community. Some of our custom 6v6s and stuff like that, and the competitive games have been fantastic and fun, so the game is definitely shaped up. The stuff going on in it right now, they've been releasing new heroes. We got Moira. She's like that attack support hero, like healer slash damage dealer, and Doomfist was right before that, and they keep releasing these heroes that are not quite hashed out or finished. And they're like, hey, here's a hero, and they don't put it in comp play right away because, quote, they're not ready. But then like a week later, they shove them in mid-season. And they're like, yeah, use this. And then everybody's like just tanked on their ratings, or the matchups are screwy. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know what's the deal with like why people would make a competitive game and then start messing with like compositions and stuff. I mean, do they do this in other games? Is this something that's common?
League of Legends, they do that all the freaking time, and it's infuriating.
Bloom, you're shaking your head yet too.
Yeah, they're constantly changing the meta, what they call the metas, by tweaking stuff. I mean, I think a lot of ways is to help keep the game fresh. But at the same time, you know, when you add a new character, that can completely change other characters as well. So you kind of have to, you're constantly tweaking as you're adding new stuff to make sure that, you know, there might be an overpowered synergy between the new character and like a character that's already there. So you have to tweak the older character to make sure that there's not an overpowered meta going on, because that will drive people away faster than anything.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I think, you know, to touch on something that you said, Pow, about playing with friends. I mean, honestly, that's 100% of the reason why I'm even doing this right here. It's 100% of the reason why I play any game these days. I don't even play single player games. It's just, I don't know why, but I just love to play with my friends with the shit community. So first of all, you know, if I'm playing with the shit community, unless we're losing back-to-back times in comp mode in Overwatch, getting salty, that's what I want to do, right? So I agree with you there, and that's what makes this game that much more fun, I think. But I just think Blizzard in general does a really good job with their games. I don't know what their formula is, but I feel like they really kind of have it. Now, are there challenges to when they release updates, and are there characters in there? You know, Doomfist has its hitbox issue. Don't know if they fixed that yet. They just now, we sent out the article from yesterday that they're changing the speed at which some of the characters move on the ground, which is also going to change the way that they act in the air. Maybe Pharah and Genji, to throw those in the mix right in the middle of a season, that's really going to change the dynamic of the teams. Just like the Mercy update really changed the dynamic of the game. I mean, could they do that better? Yes, but at least they're trying to make changes, right? At least they try to fix the things as they're going as quickly as possible. They listen, I feel like, to feedback from player base. So I feel like they try really hard to make a good game. That's my view. Do they mess it up sometimes? Absolutely. But, you know, I think they recognize it and change it as quickly as they can.
I definitely feel the polish on their games is always better. It's like, it's the Blizzard polish. And I always say to people, like a few of my other friends around town and stuff, that, you know, we play a lot of games together and stuff. And I'm like, you know, it doesn't matter what Blizzard releases, we'll probably get it. We're all slaves to Blizzard. It's like, even if it's a game, like I own StarCraft 2, I don't play StarCraft at all. I did the campaign on it and I never touched it again. But I bought it because it's a Blizzard game, and I'm like, I want to see the story, I want to see that polish, and I think Overwatch has got that polish, even though there's like tons of, it's like we're willing to accept all the underlying issues that are wrong with, like, we feel that this isn't balanced, or we feel that isn't right, this isn't right. Of course, everybody's gonna have an opinion of what they think's right and wrong, but like, this is their game, so we have to kind of accept that, I guess. But
in the comp, it makes it tough, because I mean, that's all. I try not to play anything but comp. I don't know, once you get to a certain point in playing, I feel like that's what you're doing. Even with, you know, the comp mode, there's so many issues with it, you know, between the you know, the rating of the character to the rating of the player, and whether or not the people that you're playing with are going to take it seriously. So there's challenges there that I think create the solve. But comp mode, you know, we're touching on that and how it all relates to that. I love comp mode. You can tell when you go up against a team that is better than you. Watching POW play, you know, Attack Torb is something that is amazing.
Bow.
So yeah. Overwatch, love the game. I think it's probably one of my favorite games ever, really. But top three for sure, for sure.
One thing that we need to take in consideration is that like the seasons are so long that if they would say, okay, we're only going to release updates affecting meta in between season, they would either need to shorten the season or add a longer delay where the season isn't live. And I'm not sure that would be a better solution than what we have right now. And add into the mix that they're starting to have their own professional league and tournaments. That's going to be coming up in January. And if they try to make sure that they don't affect the meta for those competition as well, it's going to be messy, and like people are going to be screaming for updates to change or a broken character or fix some issues, and then it's going to be even longer before they receive these updates. So it's a balancing act. I'm not sure they're implementing it too badly so far.
I have more to say on to that, but before I do, I want to give Sploom the floor if he's got anything to add to this.
My whole thing, I love Overwatch. I think it's, like Farton said, it's easily probably one of the best shooters of the last decade, because it's the most polished shooter. And, you know, I know a lot of people are saying that, you know, they need to do more time with the meta, like .neb and everything, you know, with the shorter seasons and everything. They don't add characters that often. It's not like, you know, like a League of Legends where they're adding, you know, a character every couple months, it seems like. So that does give them more time internally to balance stuff. So I think that, you know, when a new character cut does come in and they do have to change stuff, it's not as drastic usually as some other games can be. They do rework characters from time to time. We've seen it with D.Va, we've seen it with Mercy. So that certainly does happen, and that does take some getting used to. But I mean, when it comes to competitive Overwatch, I'm not really a competitive player. I just play it for fun.
Yeah, I would say that my take on with Overwatch and Blizzard in general is the bankroll that they have for people and resources to make sure that, like you said, they don't put out a hero so often, so it should be a little bit more fine-tuned. It should be polished a little bit more. The expectations are there from everybody. It's like, it's a Blizzard game, we expect the polish, and at this point now the game's been out long enough that I feel like when they put a new hero in, that it shouldn't be coming out going, okay, like Doomfist had a ton of like hit scan registry errors and stuff like that weren't happening. You know, they're trying to balance their meta between the casual players and their pro comp players with this whole stuff that's going on with the $20 million tourney. Is that what it is? It was like $2 million tourneys that everybody had to pay in for, and sponsorships and stuff. And it's like, those guys went in, they paid their money, they got their sponsorships, and Blizzard's making bankroll on this still. And there's no excuse at this point for them to be like, well, we didn't have the resources, you know, to understand that Mercy rezzing somebody every 30 seconds with like minimal hitches in it. She could just run out and just bang, you're up, bang, you're up. And it's like, what? Like, you didn't think that was a problem? And it took all these pro players saying, we will not play your tourney until you fix this, that they went, oh, I think we need to fix it. It's like, come on. I have a little higher expectations of them than that. You know, they got to be held to a better standard. I don't know. Maybe it's just the old cranky man in me saying, like, you know, I just find that unacceptable at this level for them. Overwatch is too good of a game for them to just kind of like half-ass release characters. Like, and Mercy's still under the knife on like a lot. But, you know, Fart brought up, they had that article posted up about the movement on the ground and everything changing, and that's going to affect her flying. That's going to affect Pharah. Genji probably going to get affected hardcore with it. So that
Junkrat, they were saying Winston's going to be big time. Junkrat probably, maybe D.Va, she flies a ton. But yes, you are a salty old bastard.
I am salty. But the thing is like, how many times have we been playing? And maybe you guys have noticed it too, because I haven't really played any games with you, Sploom or Neb, on Overwatch or anything. But like, when Pharah's up in the air with a Mercy and you're shooting even with a 76, it's just sometimes that hit scan is just not there. Like, you're right on her, and it's like, wait, the hitbox is down here. or now it's up here, now it's over here, and it's really wonky. So I'm hoping if this fixes that, it's going to change for a lot of people, and it might change where some players that were having issues are going to play better, and other players that thought they were really good at Pharah or something like that, they might notice they're going to be getting hit a lot more, and it's going to hurt. It's going to change their meta. Just a small tweak like that can change the whole meta for the game, and I look forward to it. The next bit for the night, something that Farton's not a fan. I'm a fan. Mava's a fan. I'm not sure if Neb's a fan. Fortnite. Well, before we talk about the Battle Royale, which is obviously going to be, that's the main thing. That's what everybody's all about these days, is the Battle Royale. I don't know if Matt, I don't know, maybe Sploom you have or not, but the story mode, the campaign story mode of this game is actually totally worth the purchase. And if anybody in chat hasn't tried it out or is looking for a game to play that's worth the few dollars it's probably going to cost just to get it, it's totally worth it. It is so fun. I'll play it with you. It's great. It's got a ton of like crafting stuff in it. It's got tons of guns to build and make hordes of zombies to kill. The building can get fun, and when you get in the higher levels, it just gets so insane. It's definitely fun with friends, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be everybody's friend. But
look, let's face it, Fortnite is going the same route as H1Z1. H1Z1 when it first came out was the Just Survive, which was surviving against zombies, and then they came out with the Battle Royale, and the Battle Royale became so much more popular. And I think honestly, you're gonna see it separate. Probably not in the near future, but at some point it's gonna separate.
You think?
I think.
Wow.
I honestly do. It's gonna become two different games.
That is an interesting take. I did not think of it like that, but okay.
It's free. I mean, the Battle Royale is free. That's where they're making all their money right now. I mean, okay. I know the PvE portion of Venture is gonna go free. The whole game is gonna go free to play at some point. But right now, all of their money is coming from Battle Royale. Like that's just what it is, and that's honestly where all of their focus is going to wind up. It's the same thing that happened with H1Z1.
Yeah.
I think that I should give it another try. I watch some YouTube channels that are pretty entertaining. Actually, one in particular, a guy named Aculite. He's an amazing streamer. I mean, YouTuber for his Fortnite play and his PUBG play. So I've been watching him play, and I've been watching a couple streamers on Mixer play, and the Shed guys. And I think I'm going to give it another shot. I definitely want to give it another shot. But I don't know. I like to play the games that are a little bit more. I don't know. It's maybe not the right term, but quote unquote realistic. You know? What I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I played H1Z1. It was fun, but I just didn't like the mechanics of the shooting, if that's the right words for it. But and Fortnite's kind of the same way. But again, I've sort of been watching how people play and how it's meant to be played now, and it seems interesting. It seems like it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. Like, I wasn't on the Fortnite Battle Royale train when it first came out. Like, I tried it for, I don't know, a few times over the first couple weeks, and you know how every shooter has like a flow to it, right? You just get a feel for the flow of the game. I could not get a feel for the flow of Fortnite. I just couldn't. And so I kind of jumped off of it. And then I actually took a day off from work and played it with some people who did know how to play it. And I kind of got a feel for it, and we started getting some wins and like that. And now I'm kind of into it. I think it's a great introduction to the Battle Royale genre for people who like may want to try something like PUBG, but don't know what the genre is all about. It's a great introduction. It's not going to really appeal to the overly hardcore players, but being free and being cartoony and not having to worry about like inventory management so much and everything, it's a great jumping off point for people who might want to give the genre a try.
That's a fair point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I agree. Nat, you got any take on that?
Yeah, so as you said, Powell, the PvE aspect of Fortnite is fantastic. Highly recommend that you guys play it. The PvP, I kind of have the same story than Mamba. Like the first time I played was not really into it. but then I played a bit more of solos, and then I got a bit into it. But I still prefer PUBG because, like Farden says, it's a bit more realistic. The cartoony aspect works well for the PvE for me. For the PvP, I'm kind of off-put by it, if that makes any sense. But I think that if you look at the gaming industry as a whole, Fortnite is a great case study for other company that want to do another battle royale with their own style. Because like Fortnite didn't start as a battle royale, but like anybody that would want to jump on the battle royale craze, like the rumors that we're hearing for CSGO, the rumors that we're hearing for Blizzard as well, like it might be a good case study of like not only focusing on PUBG's success but also on Fortnite's success.
Yeah.
Great point.
I mean, I did the H1Z1 thing when it was like what Spoon was saying before. When it was just one game, and I loved, like, that was my first jump into like a survival mode type game. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, oh shit, I can build a base. I can go kill people, take their stuff, and put it in my base. Like, this is fantastic. I'm ruining these people's day. They are like visually and verbally upset with me in game, and I'm excited by this. I need to keep playing. And
I don't know if I want to play with you anymore.
kind of like
troll.
Yeah, like a masochist. It's just like, you know, so it was like, this was fantastic. I was like, this is great. And then they went into that whole battle royale thing, and I was like, I just gave up, because they gave up on the part of the game I liked, the building aspect. So that already was part of something I enjoyed in these games. So maybe that's why I do enjoy Fortnite more so, just because of the building in it. But I've always been
sorry to interrupt. The reason that I think that you're going to start seeing the Fortnite Battle Royale split off from the actual PvE portion of it and kind of become its own separate thing is that when they actually get to the point of building stuff into the Battle Royale, they're going to build stuff into Battle Royale that is not going to work in the PvE portion of it.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're going to have, and the same thing with the PvE portion of it. You're going to have stuff in the PvE portion of it that's not going to translate into the Battle Royale portion of it. So you're really going to end up with two separate games. Right now it's close because they're they're built off the same engine, have a lot of the same stuff in it, but you're going to see the development diverge to the point where I think they're really just going to end up splitting off.
I got to hand it to them, though. I mean, the updates that these guys are pushing out for Fortnite is like almost every 2-3 weeks. They're hammering like anything, like, we're going to fix it, we're going to handle it. They're doing, they're very transparent in like getting a video out to tell everybody, like, hey, this is what we got coming in like the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're working on this. And they put it down and they're like, that's it. And within like 2 weeks, it's live. It's there. And I'm like, holy crap, I didn't know there was developers doing this kind of work. These guys are pushing it. Their Christmas stuff is going on right now. They added in like this whole new season bracket for the Battle Royale. So now you're getting your levels, you're earning something. So now you got that carrot on a stick. Hence they're going to earn their revenue. So you got that carrot on a stick to chase, to play, to earn your levels, to spend the currency or the money or buy the loot crates, and you can, or the V-Bucks they call them in that, and then you can buy costumes for your characters. Like they got a cinnamon, the cinnamon man there, the cinnamon toast guy, and they've got, you know, all kinds of costumes, like Christmas costumes and stuff going on. It's crazy stuff, but you know, it's good, it's fun, I enjoy it. Yeah, the gingerbread, the cinnamon, yes. Okay, I'm sorry, the cinnamon. Is cinnamon gingerbread? I don't eat them. I don't eat them. Cinnamon makes my tongue swell. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear Farton's thinking that possibly if I keep hitting him a few more times with it, I'll get him to come play it again with me.
Oh, dude, I'll definitely play. I'll play with you, man. You just gotta let me know when you're playing again, and I don't even know if it's installed anymore. I have to check to make sure.
Oh, snap. Oh, another giveaway going on.
I'll play with you, Caustic. I'll play with... Dude.
Xbox or PC?
The POW's just a flavor of the week right now for me.
Oh.
Ow. Can we get some aloe for that burn?
Oh, no, we're gonna stop it now, but don't make me start going there.
All right. We're rearing towards the end, which means I guess we got to save the best for last, right?
Or at least the most played, at least, for last, I guess. I'd say.
Everybody has opinions, and everybody has gotten themselves dirty in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Dude,
So
you always get dirty when you're picking up Mega's boxes, dude. Let's just say that.
So this has been a big month for them though. Like it's like Christmas for them too. Like, okay, let's be honest and say that Fortnite definitely put a boot in their ass and they got going, because it wasn't until like Fortnite came out and they saw like somebody else is stealing their thunder a little bit, and it wasn't really going to take it from them. They've got it, but they were like, how long has the game been out? And they finally, like, all of a sudden in the last like 2 months, they've really ramped up like production. They've got the console released, they've got a new map. They started handling when we were doing the test servers, the desyncing wasn't really there. They were just handling business. So we could just start right with the new map, Miramar. Let's talk about Miramar first, because I have my opinions and I'm sure you've got yours. So what do you think of Miramar, man? What do you think of Miramar?
I like the concept of it. It's a totally different game in that map, dude. It's just not as forgiving. It's not just the map that changed, though. They changed the way that some of the guns work and some of the bullet drop and some of the power of some of the guns. So there's that. The vehicles also obviously change. It's a different flow. There's so many different things about it, I think, all at once, that it really is just a different game. Now, I think that it's just interesting how it changes the way that you even engage other groups and other teams. You're not so close to you're not so close to each other. Maybe it's just not being familiar with the map yet, to where, because on the original map, I know almost everywhere. If I'm in a building in one town, I know which way is the next town over here. If I hear gunfire coming from, I know where it's from. When you're in the new map, you're like, where's that shot coming from? But I think that they're trying to add new content, and there were some people that were saying that it was a copy pasta of DayZ's map. But whatever, dude. At least they're trying to do something. I don't think so either.
Inspired by?
Yeah, they're trying to make new content, and they're trying to implement things that are making the game, I think, what will be better. So yeah, I like it. I think it's a step in the right direction. And they lowered the volume on the plane in a freaking drop. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that finally that needed to be fixed for sure. But yeah, what I find super interesting about Miramar is that like it's very different in the way it's structured. Like there's way more elevation, so there's like higher peaks. So you're not like always looking on the horizon. You're always having to look way up there. And also there's no like trees, so less covers. You are using like the little crevasse in the rock formation as covers, so that's a totally different way of playing around in the map. Like you're moving differently because of the map. And there's some part that you don't know the map, so like you don't know where to go. But there's also the fact that like the topology is very different.
Sploom.
I like the way that he said crevasse.
Crevasse. I was gonna say, if we do
that was so awesome.
If there's an entry word for giveaways, it needs to be crevasse.
I don't disagree.
Sploom, what do you think of Miramar?
I love Miramar. The biggest change for me, like when it comes to Miramar versus the original map, not having the shooting range in the lobby. Like not having to listen to it, like 500 people running around with guns and blasting them in your ears for the minute that it takes for you to load in, drove me nuts.
It's really funny. I haven't even realized that until you just said it. I didn't even.
Oh, it's so nice.
Wow, you just blew my mind, Mama.
I think the map is obviously the same size, but there's not as much water, which means there's more land for you to actually be on, which makes the map feel bigger. Also, as like .neb said, there's not a lot of cover in between like buildings, so it's a lot more dangerous to run now. Like vehicles have taken a whole nother level of that map, because to get from point A to point B running with nothing to hide behind, GG, good luck.
Yeah. I got in Miramar. I like Miramar, and I like it more, probably totally different reasons. I can see people in it easier. like I said, as I get older, it's getting harder for me to spot these players in these games like Battlefield and Battlefront, and PUBG. It's the way the graphics are set up. It just something don't register. I'm a little slow, but in Miramar I got in there and I can spot people moving, just can't hit them. You know, it is what it is. But
That'll
I feel
change.
like you're right. It don't matter what I do. I feel like the mountain ranges and the crevasses, like when I'm gonna throw this in as much as I can now. When you're trying to move across that map, I've noticed that I'm getting caught more when I'm like, oh, I only got to go here. I have more than enough time to make it. And then I start going and I'm like, holy shit, I am like I might as well just lay down in the dirt here and just log out. I'm done. Like, and I'm in this crevasse. I ain't going anywhere. I got to go back up this other mountain over here and then down another crevasse and up another mountain. And it's like, because it's going like this the whole time, instead of just running this far, when you flatten the mountain ranges out and stuff, you're running like this far. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So you get caught out in the blue. I think .NEB should coin that for 2018.
Totally.
Hashtag crevasse.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the blue life is my life. So this whole this whole changing of the blue changes my life, dude. Like, you're in the blue after Circle 4, you're screwed. You are screwed.
What about the new buses? The little Volkswagens?
Mystery machine?
Stay tuned for the bus. Just wait. But yeah, the blue, even on the new map, even on the old map, it's just brutal, man. You gotta really be paying attention to moving, and it's really hard for me to do. As you know how much I love the blue.
Man, and what else we got going on with that? And when we were doing, they jumped on that in the test servers. They were going bonkers, kicking the hackers out that got in. That was like I was really proud to see them handle that situation. I mean, it was like within less than 24 hours, they were on the ban hammers, just kicking people. And, you know, that's something that all the players should be really, like, you know, giving praise to the company. A lot of people get on and they see that as like the time to make cheap shots to the company. Like, oh, you got your game so bad, you got all these hackers in it. And it's like, they're dealing with it. They're handling it. Like, you should be high-fiving them, order them a cake or something and send it to their building. Like, you know?
I mean, yes, but the game still needs some touches too. I haven't played 1.0 yet, so I'm excited to get in there and do that.
I'll tell you, the optimization that they added in for 1.0 for the PC, fantastic.
Yes, Maba, thank you. I'm excited to try that out. I mean, look, dude, this is quickly becoming one. I'd say, if there's top 3 games that I had that were before, this would be like make it top 4. I mean, I think this game has tons of potential. They're adding content regularly. They're fixing patches. Their patch notes are really good. I read them. So yeah, I see a lot in the future for this game if they can keep releasing interesting maps. Basically, I would say content, but maps. And then hopefully one day we can get a friend of mine, a cousin, a third aunt, whatever can you get partnered with those guys so we can get a server to really have some fun. But yeah, PUBG, man, loving it. It's a lot of fun.
It's a big hit, man. Everybody loves it. I was a fan of the vaulting that they put in.
So good,
dude. Right? Wasn't that like one of the? I was like, why is this not in the game? And then everybody's like, oh, they're adding vaulting, and I was like, oh, I might actually really enjoy this. This is, the movement to me originally felt very boxy. I don't know if that makes sense to some people. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I felt very robotic in the animations and stuff, and that's why I stick to a lot more stylized games. Look at like TF2. Team Fortress Classic, Overwatch, Fortnite. There's a pattern here. I like cartoony games because they just flow better on the screen. They look better. When you get these realistic games, sometimes it just looks bad, and that's a huge turnoff.
You can go play Cuphead, dude.
Cuphead looks... I didn't get it. It looks fantastic.
It's bonkers. Play it. It's so good. You're gonna rage.
I think one thing we would be failing our viewers if we didn't talk about the Xbox release. I don't own an Xbox, I'm a PC guy, but I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about that, or if chat has something to say or has questions. I know a lot of guys are playing Xbox right now, so what are your thoughts on that, and how's that working and looking?
I have a bald spot from playing Cuphead.
I played on the Xbox. I would say that the Xbox version has a lot of the same issues that the early PC version did. The desync is by far the biggest issue. They've got to fix their servers, bar none. The other big issue is the game was definitely designed and optimized on an Xbox One X, and the Xbox One S and the OG Xbox definitely suffer because of it. They need to optimize those two earlier consoles and less powerful consoles to make the game run better. Because if you want to talk about potato graphics, play for our PUBG on the OG Xbox.
At what, 30 frames, right?
Not even.
It won't even run at that?
It will if you turn off the your game DVR to free up some of the resources.
Wow.
But
12 frames, Bizzo says.
Oh, Bizzo, come on. Well, no, there are times, to give you an example, the render distance is pretty much non-existent. Like if I'm parachuting in a Georgia pole, I basically have to be ready to land on top of one of the buildings before half the city will even render. And by the time I get down there, the buildings themselves on ground level look like smudges. They actually have to render in afterwards.
Yo, just get good, bro.
Now the Xbox One X looks great, which you expect it to.
That's how I load in every game with PUBG. Everything renders like slow-mo for me, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I'd also like to say too that it makes for interesting tournament play. I was recently fortunate enough to be able to play with Styles and Deathstrike Virus in the New York City Mixer Studio tournament recently. That was a lot of fun. I see a lot of potential there. Big shout out to Zuni and those guys over there that are putting that together. That was a lot of fun. They do a pretty good job with that. Hopefully one day we could see something happening, within the Shed team doing stuff like that. Like I said, if we ever get partnered and get a server, somebody gets that'd be fantastic. But I'm trying to get more involved in that scene. I like playing, much like the Overwatch, the comp mode, the competitiveness of it is fun, even though we suck, but hey.
I think you guys did fantastic.
It's at the end of the day, it's all RNG, right? Like where are you going to land? If you're going to get the weapons, where's the circle going to be? A lot of it is just kind of making sure that if you're even able. And that's part of the problem with the new map is, dude, you're so far away. It's like, holy, what do I do?
That was, you bring it up, the new map Miramar. There's a point I wanted to talk about with that. I don't know if you guys have this issue with it, but some of the towns and everything seem to be so condensed. There's so much in one little spot. I feel like they could have kind of inflated those out a little bit more. I don't know if that's just the on purpose intention of making the map so barren and open in areas and stuff, but it just feels like I get confused in a city on Miramar to did I loot this building? I go back in there and I'm like, man, they all look the same. I feel like I'm just, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that's the biggest difference for me for the new Miramar map versus the original is the fact that there are a lot more landmarks in the original map that you can go by. There's the river, there's fields, there's forests, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Mountain, there's the Stalber Mountain up in the north. There's a lot of things that you can look at. You can look in this direction, see that, and go, oh, okay, now I know where I am. But because Miramar, it's just desert. Yeah. It's going to take a lot longer for us to kind of learn stuff about where things are situated.
Landmarks and shit. Yeah.
Landmarks. It's really going to be basically the way you learn even the original map. It's all about remembering where you die. You come
true.
up seriously, you come up to the Miramar, I know where the graveyard is now because I've died there 6 times.
Yep, absolutely. Farton's calling that it's all RNG and stuff. He's also, if you've seen him play, it's RNG whether a crate will drop as well.
or
within
whether
his-
or how well the vehicle that I am in decides it's going to barrel roll or flip or not. I mean,
I don't know
Martin
who
just
does
needs to
things
get
like
good.
that.
I just need to get good. I just need to get good.
That's like the response everybody has in PUBG. If you
Get good, mama.
get good, that's
I'll come play with you, Mom. Maybe you can get me good, baby.
all right. So as we get towards the end of the night, usually the last minute, 2 minutes or so before we close out, I like to ask anybody in chat if they have any questions or things they want to ask of us, personal things, and if we can pass on whether we want to answer you or not. You want to know, like, why is Mava so sexy and has a cat jumping on his head the whole stream? What is a crevasse? Anything personal, you guys can shoot at us, and then we'll close out and say goodnight and thank you for all the follows and the hosts and everybody that came in to.
I'm banning
this-
Caustic from asking me any personal questions.
Nice. Thanks for the retweets and the promoting in your Discord channels, you guys. That's what this Mixer community is all about. So yeah, thank you guys for all of that, for sure. What does it say? The Shed wants to know when's the next show. I'll leave that to Pow to talk about.
What? Where is it?
When's the next show?
The next show will be the 4th. January the 4th.
Very nice, dude.
May the
Awesome.
fourth be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
I didn't realize it was gonna be that quick. Power, look at you, buddy.
Oh no! We're gonna shoot for every 2 weeks unless like something horrible happens, which we hope not. But it is a holiday season; something could come up. UT or Quake? All right, down the list. Farton, UT or Quake?
Armpit hair.
Mob,
If we're talking the original stuff, Unreal Tournament.
Neb,
UT all the way.
Quake. He knew I was gonna say it too. I was gonna say
Probably UT's the only game that I probably played for any period of time. So I guess if you're going that UT.
I loved UT, but Quake Fortress was where I originally started in '96, so that's what got me into PC gaming and stuff. So
Have you guys tried the new modern UT?
No, I haven't. They were featuring it at last year's PAX East.
Like if you grew up with those games, I highly recommend that you take a look or watch DSV play it. It's really good.
How many bitcoins does it take to bribe one's way onto the panel? There's no bribing.
When I was in college, we actually had Unreal Tournament installed on the lab computers in like a hidden directory, and the security guards would let us in there if we bribed them with pizza and beer to have LAN parties late at night.
Very cool.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Sometimes they'd join us, but a lot of times they just got drunk and ate pizza.
Hugger wants me to
Right.
put hoops in this like Captain Lou Albano. It's
So, sort of segue on the next show, Power. I mean, that's a great segue into kind of some of the things that the Shed's doing behind the scenes. For those of you that are watching and a member of the community, we're doing. Pow has the show. We have a lot of high hopes. We're going to do a lot of these shows involved with the Shed, with different members from the Shed, outside the Shed. We're trying to put together game nights within the community, and for anybody else that's interested, we're trying to do some interesting things with maybe a YouTube channel coming down the road. Just a lot of fun things going on behind the scenes that we're going to be trying to roll out this next year. ShedCon later next year, PAX East meetups, all kinds of good fun stuff. Merchandise. You should go check out the Shed Team website. If somebody wants to put it there in chat for us. And go look at us over there. We got, you can get involved with the community if you're not a part of it. If you're looking for community to get involved in, we're happy to have all kinds of folks. We're growing fast. We have a great group of people here. You guys are a big reason, the reason why I play games and doing this kind of stuff. So, and we owe a lot of that to Bizzo for starting it up way back when. So, thanks for doing all that.
yeah,
for us,
big
Biz.
thanks to Bizzo and everybody. You guys are awesome. Mava.nab, Farton.
Yeah, Neb, you got anything to add to that, bud?
Oh yeah, I can tease.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I get asked by people, when's the next tournament, Neb? When's that gonna happen? Because Rocket League was awesome. So I'm not gonna divulge when. It's gonna be next year, early next year in January, February. You're gonna get more details, but I can announce or tease the game. It's a game that we talked about during the show. We're gonna be playing Overwatch. So get your practice in, because we're gonna be building a team of Overwatch and we're gonna be playing that. Rules and more details to come. That's all I'm teasing for now.
I'll bring my turret. Torb,
Baby.
more Torb.
Torb and his Jorn.
Sploom, anything from you before we end out for the night?
Nothing for me right now. Sorry, I'm boring.
Wow, man, he's just done.
I think we already knew that. I mean,
Yeah, right.
You know, I'm sexy, but I'm boring. I'm not the complete package. But I know what to tell you.
If you guys have not checked out Sploom or Neb or Farton's stream, please be sure to hit him up, give him a follow, love, and also hit my channel up. Come visit me when I'm live. I play different things, things that we don't talk about. Appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you. Congrats to those that won the giveaways, and I will see you guys again on the next Power Hour.
hour. Thanks for spending time with us, guys.
That's your gang signs.